first big thing I'll say is there is no common family law case. As everyone knows, everyone's family is different. And every family law case is going to be different because, different issues will arise for different people. A lot of things I see are in divorce or custody matters is how are we going to divide up the time with the kids, which is obviously paramount to most parents. In Minnesota, you're presumed to get 25% of the parenting time unless you're way out of bounds and shouldn't have your kids. Kids would not be unsafe with you. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to figure out between 25 and 75%, how are you splitting up those kids? And that's based on the 12 Minnesota best interest factors. And what's best for the kids. You're really focused on, Minnesota's a child-centric state. We're focused on what's best for the kids. Other issues that pop up in divorces, splitting up your assets, and that's determining what is in the marital estate, and what's non-marital, what's marital, how do you divide that up, who gets what, not just personal property is what people kind of run to, but you're talking about the house and the mortgage. And how much equity do you have in the house? And who's going to take on the mortgage? We're now in a time where interest rates are high. So we got to worry about refinancing because, some people have very nice low interest rates that we got during the pandemic. Well, we don't have those interest rates now. So that's been popping up a lot recently. Income-wise, we're trying to figure out both child support and spousal maintenance. Minnesota, you are financially responsible. Both Minnesota, Wisconsin, North Dakota, I practice in all three. The state believes you to be responsible for your kids. You have to pay that child support. That's a lot dependent on your income, how many overnights you're getting. There are other factors, obviously, but that's kind of the big thing. Spousal maintenance, we're trying to make sure that, the spouse that maybe didn't make as much money during the marriage is able to sustain themselves and to get money from the spouse that maybe made more. And the thing about marriage is it's a partnership. And just because you worked out in the field and one of you stayed home, doesn't mean that you didn't both contribute to the marriage. If I'm taking care of the kids and my spouse is out making the money, well, that means he or she was free to go out there and make that money. And thus I should benefit from that. And that's one of the big things to deal with in spousal maintenance. In summary, there is no common family law case. Every family is different, but what we're dealing with is custody, parenting time, splitting up the assets, income issues, spousal maintenance, child support, and just figuring out how do we get a two-person home into two separate households. We're splitting up one household into two. How do we get there so that it's fair and equitable? That's a standard we use in Minnesota and Wisconsin. That's a community property state. But we just want to set up so that there are two households that can thrive. There is case law that says, look, we know the standard of living is going to go down. You're going from 1 to 2. But we're trying to equalize that. We're trying to make that as similar as possible to what you had during the marriage.